Welcome to the program. Today we're looking at what does your wristwatch say about you, and we're looking at some very famous models. We're looking at the Omega Seamaster. What does the Omega Seamaster say about the wearer? Well, to be honest with you, most people I've met who wear an Omega Seamaster are a bit of a dickhead, to be completely honest with you. It says that you're trying to be trendy and upmarket, but in a very low rent sort of way. It's sort of most people who wear an Omega Seamaster say, "Oh, nice watch," and they've got this arrogance and smart-assness to them, which I've never seen in any other watch besides a Rolex Submariner. And I find it quite hilarious. I've often had my Patek on when I've commented to somebody who wears an Omega Seamaster, and I've said, "Oh, nice Omega," and they've gone, "Oh yes, what sort of watch do you have?" I just, "Oh, it's just a generic, no-name Swiss watch. I can't quite afford the Omega." And they look at my Patek and say, "Yeah, one day, if you keep saving, you'll be able to afford one." They have no fucking idea how absolutely stupid, how they've been absolutely outduced, and they're just absolute fuckwits as far as I'm concerned. And that's why I'll never wear an Omega Seamaster, because most of the wearers are absolute fucking morons. And the demographic, who wears these Omega Seamasters? Well, it's usually 20 to 35-year-olds. They think they've seen the James Bond movie, and they've got the first credit card, so they went and bought an expensive watch. They have no idea that their watch isn't really a true luxury watch. And they've heard of a Rolex, and they always try and justify themselves by saying, "Oh, this is top Swiss brand. It's as good as a Rolex." And they've never heard of Patek, never heard of brands like Jaeger LeCoultre or Vacheron. They're just completely inexperienced fuckwits. And I like to call a spade, and that's the average Omega Seamaster wearer. So I just want to stereotype that there. The other thing about the Omega Seamaster wearer, they just think they're God's gift to the world, and they're just complete imbeciles as far as it goes. And I've worked with a few Omega Seamaster wearers, and they're just fuckwits. And that's the truth there. Once they wake up, it's going to come as a shock. The next group of people is the Rolex Submariner wearers. Now, Rolex Submariners, I've often said they're like assholes. Everyone seems to have one. And I've got the Submariner is a great watch. I love the watch. However, I could never have one because of the fuckwits who actually do wear them, and this is the big problem. The Rolex Submariner wearer is sort of a bit more glorified Omega Seamaster, whereas the next rung up, they're normally a junior engineer in an engineering firm. They're earning big bucks. They're just smart-ass little shits. That's what they are. Smart-ass little shits who wear a Rolex Submariner, and it's so cliched. It's so it's just so awful. That's one of the only thing worse they could wear than a Rolex Submariner would be a fucking TAG Heuer. And believe you me, that demographic is split between the three brands: Omega Seamaster, Rolex Submariner, and TAG Heuer. They're just, I don't know what you'd say. They've got an ego. They're just smart-ass little fuckers who need to be put into their place. And no idea of horology or anything like that. They just just very, very uneducated buyers of watches. They might be smart, but I'm just saying that as far as their watch buying habits go, uneducated little fuckers. And they've really given that genre a bad name, and that's the reason I'll never wear an Omega Seamaster or a Rolex Submariner. And it's a bit of a shame, because the Rolex Submariner is a great watch. It's one of the iconic tool watches. The problem with it is that so many tools seem to wear it, and that's the biggest problem I have with recommending a Submariner to anyone. The Sea Dweller is probably a little bit better, or the no date sub. I always love the line with the no date sub. Oh, I couldn't afford the date part, so I got the no, the one without the date. That's always a great line to use on these wankers who assume that theirs is the best because they're just the greatest person in the world. They're just the cleverest, smartest, swinging dick in the office. When, to be completely frank and honest with you, they are complete fuckwits.